Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. JCP 1977, aka Joe Lum, is back with a second episode of Ranking the Albums. This week I'm going to do a little something different. What I'm going to be doing today, ladies and gentlemen, is the classic Dokken lineup. 6 studio records from Breaking the Change to Shadow Life. Even though Jeff Pilson didn't record on one of the albums that's going to be featured here in this list, he did record with the rest of the band on all the other subsequent albums. Coming in at number 6 is Shadow Life, which is the 6th studio album by Dokken, released on April 15th, 1997. Recorded studios and Vintage Recorders in Phoenix, Arizona. 710 Studios, Redondo Beach, California. Albuquerque Studios, Cave Creek, Arizona. On the CMC International label. Produced by Kelly Gray. Kelly Gray was known for performing with Queensryche and Jeff Tate's band Operation Mindcrime. Most of the songs were written by Mick Brown, Don Dokken, Jeff Pilson, and George Lynch, except for Here I Stand and I Don't Mind, which were co-written by Kelly Gray. I didn't care much for this album at all because they changed its musical style moving forward to alternative rock. However, critics and fans alike were not too pleased with this change and dismissed the album as one of Dokken's weakest. And it was the last to feature George Lynch on lead guitar. Next. Clocking in at number 5 is Dysfunctional, the 5th Dokken album, released on May 23rd, 1995, at 710 Studios and Total Access Recording in Redondo Beach, California, on the Columbia label. Produced by Don Dokken and Michael Wagner. This was the first Dokken album after they reunited in 1993. Originally intended to be another Don Dokken solo album, it morphed into a Dokken band album when guitarist George Lynch was brought back into the fold, with Jeff Pilson and Mick Brown already on board. Originally, the album was produced for the Japanese market and released in December of '94 on JVC/Victor, simply titled Dokken. When Sony Music signed the band to a label internationally, the album was remixed with 3 additional songs recorded, like Hole in My Head, which is a cover of the Emerson, Lake and Palmer song from the beginning, and If the Good Die Young, which is that bonus track on the Japanese version. The last song is a heavily reworked new version of Snake Eyes, which Jeff Pilson had recorded with his post-Dokken band Flesh and Blood, eventually renamed War and Peace. Snake Eyes was finally released as part of the War and Peace, the Flesh and Blood Sessions album in '99. Although Dysfunctional entered the chart respectively at number 47, at the time the 80s hard rock and heavy metal scene had largely declined. Sales quickly dropped, and they were not enough to reach gold certification. In a later interview, Don Dokken claimed that the album already sold 400,000 copies. The song Too High to Fly was released as a promo single from the album, and it was a minor hit. It was one of the post-80s Dokken songs that played live on a consistent basis. I didn't have a problem with this song at all. I didn't have a problem with this album at all, to be honest, even though it's a little weaker than Shadow Life, their next one. So, next. Coming in at number 4 is Back for the Attack, Dokken's 4th studio album, released on November 2nd, 1987, through Elektra Records. It's the band's best-selling album, reaching number 13 on the U.S. Billboard 200, remaining there for 33 weeks, on the chart, that is. 3 singles also charted the mainstream rock chart. Dream Warriors hit number 22, Prisoner at number 37, and Burning Like a Flame at number 20. As well as number 72 on the Billboard Hot 100. Back for the Attack was certified gold and platinum on January 14th, 1988. The single Dream Warriors was originally released in February of 1987 as a theme song for A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Wow. Back for the Attack was recording in studios, One-on-One Recording in North Hollywood, Los Angeles, The Music Grinder in Hollywood, Total Access Recording in Redondo Beach, California, Rumble Recorders at Canoga Park, Los Angeles, and Can-Am Studios in Reseda, Los Angeles, produced by Neil Kernan. This was an awesome album. I like the songs Kiss of Death, Heaven Sent, the instrumental Mr. Scary, done by George and Jeff, Burning Like a Flame, and of course the album's ender, Dream Warriors. It's a very good album. I don't even know why I put it up number 4, to be honest, but it's a pretty good, damn good album, since it's their best seller ever. Next, coming in at number 3 is Breaking the Chains, Dokken's debut studio album. It was originally released in Europe as Breaking the Chains on a French label, Carrere Records, in 1981. But this version, the US version, contains different mixes and titles of songs from a later US edition. Paris is Burning is called Paris, and is an actually studio version as opposed to the live recording in Berlin from December of '82. The album also contains the song We're Illegal, which later turned into Long Live to Rock, Rock to Live. The album was remixed, partially re-recorded, and renamed and released in the United States in '83 by Elektra Records. It reached number 136 on the Billboard 200 chart. The album was considered a flop by the label, which had the intention to drop the band. However, Dokken management convinced Elektra that they could make a more successful record, which materialized in the next one you're going to see. Breaking the Chains' title track was named number 62 as the greatest hard rock song by VH1. Number 62. It is featured on the radio station V-Rock in the 2006 video game Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. In a discussion with George Lynch on January the 26th, 2011, he mentioned that the existence of 500 copies of the Carrere Records Breaking the Chains version printed with the Don Dokken moniker instead of Dokken. This version also had different album cover art. The original was produced by Michael Wagner and Dokken, released in Europe in '81. But the US version was re-recorded. It was done in September in '83. Now, to be honest with you, I always loved the Breaking the Chains, the song Breaking the Chains. I also like the song In the Middle. And I got a kick out of the Paris is Burning, even though I enjoyed listening to the song Paris from the original Breaking the Chains as well. Next, clocking in at number 2 is Dokken's second record, Tooth and Nail. Released on September 14th, 1984 through Elektra Records, despite the unsuccessful release of Breaking the Chains, Elektra Records were reluctant to give credit to Dokken for a follow-up. However, the band's management struggled to convince the label's executives to give the band another chance. And this fight for recognition is reflected on the album's title. This album would be the first with bassist Jeff Pilson following Juan Croucier leaving to join Rat. The production on this album was entrusted to renowned producer Tom Werman, but the recordings were hampered by the clash of egos between Don and George, who could not work together in the studio at the same time, and by the excesses of musicians and technicians. For those reasons, Werman was unable to carry on his work and quit the job after a few weeks. He was soon replaced by Roy Thomas Baker and Michael Wagner, who completed the recordings and mixed the album. The music of the albums ranges from fast and aggressive to pop and melodic ballads. Tooth and Nail received positive reviews, but a slow seller, reaching the peak at number 49 on the US Billboard 200, and got gold status more than 10 months after its release. On the wake of the success of this single Alone Again and of its accompanying music video, the album was certified platinum by the RIAA in 1989. The album was recorded between April and July of 1984 in Cherokee Studios in Hollywood. To be honest with you, this is a very damn good album. I liked Into the Fire, Alone Again, Just Got Lucky. I think there was another song on there called When Heaven Comes Down. Yeah, there it is. When Heaven Comes Down. It was probably the best Dokken album to feature the four original members. Not four original members, I mean, with Don, Jeff, George, and Mick in there. And this was an awesome album. I would recommend you go check it out for the songs Just Got Lucky, Into the Fire, and of course the power ballad Alone Again. Next. And this is the number one record, Under Lock and Key, the third studio album by Dokken, released on November 5th, 1985. It reached number 32 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and remained there for 67 weeks. Two singles also charted, The Hunter and In My Dreams, both reaching number 25 and number 24 on Billboard's mainstream rock, respectively, with In My Dreams at number 77 on the Billboard Hot 100. Under Lock and Key was certified gold on March 4th, 1986, and then platinum on April 14th, 1987. The album received mostly positive reviews. Under Lock and Key was quite possibly Dokken's most complete record, with a little something for every type of fan. Fist-bumping headbangers and extraordinary bittersweet mid-paced rockers like Unchained Tonight and The Hunter, and saccharine ballads such as Slippin' Away. I like the songs Unchained Tonight, The Hunter, In My Dreams, Slippin' Away, and It's Not Love. It's also, it is one hell of an album. I would recommend it because it's the best album Dokken ever put out. So there you have it, the first 6 Dokken albums ranked. The big question is when am I going to rank the other Dokken albums? Well, as of right now, I can't because I'm already checking out this new album they got coming out called Heaven Comes Down, which features the song Fugitive. It's a pretty kick-ass song as well, so you got to stay tuned for that. Until next week on Album Rankings, I'm Joel. I'll be seeing ya.